I call this meeting to order of the Special Committee on the Criminal Justice Complex for August 19th. And Madam Clerk, if you would get us started.
Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Varga?
Here.
Commissioner Marecki?
Here.
Commissioner Baydoun? Commissioner Kinlock?
Present.
Chair Anderson?
Present.
You have a quorum.
Okay. I'll dispense with, the only thing I'll have on my remarks, item B, is just that I think probably most everyone was online when I thanked our corporate counsel, Mr. Heath, for providing the answers to those other questions that I had from previous meetings that someone had submitted to me. So we have those, that information, and I won't ask him to go over it because we are going to try to save a little bit of time in today's meeting because of the budget meetings of Ways and Means immediately following. And the chair has warned me she's going to start on time. So we're going to make sure we get this meeting wrapped up. So Madam Chair, next item on the agenda.
We are moving to item C, approval of the July 22nd, 2021 meeting minutes.
Madam Clerk, I meant, yeah. Madam Clerk, I meant. Thank you. Is there a second? I guess I can, I don't know if the chair can do that by himself.
Why don't you call on somebody to second it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Second it. Support.
All right. All right. There
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. We
Muted.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the July 22nd meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Seeing none, minutes have been approved. Next item on the agenda.
We're moving to item D1 under new business, an update from James Heath, Carter Fisher, Jay Shandor, Bill Rath, and Victoria Ennis Edwards regarding the status of the criminal justice complex.
Take it away, James Heath.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Appreciate the opportunity to appear before you again. James Heath, Wayne County Corporation Counsel. Also like to call to the virtual table Bill Rath from CGL, Victoria Ennis Edwards, and James Carter Fisher for purposes of our very brief presentation, and we're available to answer any questions you might have. Just a few housekeeping things. As you mentioned, Chairman Anderson, we did submit the written responses to several of the questions that we did not have answers for during our last meeting. I know you all received those today, and we're happy to give you any follow-up either in writing or at your next meeting once you and the committee members, those who I know some other members of the commission, perhaps not even members of this committee, had submitted questions, and once they're forwarded to them, we're happy to follow up either at our next meeting or however you'd like it to be done, Commissioner.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
No problem. You received our monthly report. We had our monthly kind of large group meeting with Bedrock yesterday. And so the report that you received has kind of the most up-to-date information and with respect to construction at least, and I'll allow Bill to kind of hit any of the kind of high notes. I will tell you that the report looks very similar to what it did last month rather. That's not because we aren't doing work, but I don't think there's been any substantial milestones, new milestones that we've hit, but we are moving steadily and making progress. And so once Bill has his opportunity, if there's anything he wants to touch on, I'll allow him to do so. Just a few other matters that I would like to highlight. There are several contracts which are working their way through TCM that will, in the normal course of business, hit the entire commission. Obviously, members of this committee will get those as well. Just to give you kind of an update on what they are, a pretty small agreement with DTE which will allow the DTE Energy Services, who is going to be operating the central utility plant on behalf of the county, a contract less than $5,000 with DTE Energy, the regulated utility, which will allow us to operate our generators and receive DTE electric power as we go forward, which is necessary for the proper operation of the CUP. That's a contract, which I believe the total is roughly $70 or so a month that we're going to be paying, that you all will be getting the details on as it works its way through TCM. The larger contract, which I'm sure there's going to be some discussion as it reaches you, and probably have some questions from commission staff as a whole on. So we'll be happy to discuss it in greater detail at the appropriate time once you see it, is with Source Blue. That is a firm that the county is seeking to retain to help us with the FF&E procurement process as we go forward. As you well know, Chairman Anderson, there's a number of things, that furniture, fixtures, and equipment that the county has to purchase in order to allow our end users to operate within the new facility. One of the things that we very much are interested in is making sure that those purchases, are done in a way that meets our county's needs, but also in a way that allows us to continue to meet our inclusion goals that we have for the entire project. And so we've identified Source Blue as a company that can help us with that, and will also allow us to reap some of the sales tax savings that can be had on purchasing that equipment. So the county taking on more of that direct role in making those purchases, as opposed to the original agreement, which called for ROC to be making those purchases. And obviously, as ROC's not a government entity, and so they would not have the sales tax savings opportunities that therefore would not be passed on to the county. And so by taking greater control of the process, we think we get a better result, and have some cost savings with respect to the county. But as that contract works its way through TCM, and all of you have an opportunity to review it, and we'll answer the questions on it, that will become more apparent. But I just want to give you a heads up that is something that we're working on, is coming through, as well as the A&A Deli. I know that's something that you, the cafeteria services that you've asked about on a number of occasions. If you got any questions on that, Carter Fisher, who was the primary negotiator for us on that, can answer those questions. But that's something that's snaking its way through to you as well. And lastly, we at long last have the MIDC settlement agreement in TCM as well. And my sense is that I think it's probably going to come up through government operations, but perhaps at their next meeting, we'll have an opportunity to talk about that. And certainly members of this committee probably know more about that than the other commissioners who have not participated in these conversations. And so once it gets to full board, or for any of you who are on that appropriate committee, we look forward to your expertise in kind of knowing the background on that issue, in terms of answering whatever questions might arise there. We've been talking for a number of months about our negotiation process with Bedrock. We have been referring to this list of 300. Bill Rath would be kicking me under the table because it's really a list of more than 300 items. But we just, for ease of discussion, call it the list of 300. Those are items that we are looking to finalize our last design on the project, and we went to our end users several months ago and tried to get an idea of exactly what other items they needed added to the project. And we did an analysis about who would be responsible, whether the county or ROC, on many of those items. We are confident in the positions that we've taken on that. We asked ROC to give us pricing with respect to those items. They've done that, and we are in the process of reviewing that information and having conversations with ROC. And so I would imagine that hopefully within the next month, certainly 2 months from now, we'll have more definitive information for you and this committee on kind of where we stand and what we think the final resolution ought to be. But we are spending a considerable amount of time working on that issue. And that will be a major hurdle in terms of hopefully kind of the last set of huge unknowns, I'll call it, with respect to price tag for this project. And so as soon as we have more definitive information, we certainly will pass that on to you. Bill Carter, before I turn it over to CGL to talk a little bit about the construction activity over the last month, anything you guys want to add with respect to the things I've mentioned already?
I think you hit all the high notes from my perspective.
Okay.
Yep.
Commissioner, any questions for you or the committee, or would you like to hear from Bill first to talk a little bit about construction progress?
I would just want to make a comment, and then I'll go to committee members. I did want to say that was one of the questions I was going to have, is those unsettled issues. And I know there's going to be pretty serious negotiation with ROC to resolve who's paying for those things that we that you've got the prices for or estimates for. And so I look forward to hearing more about that as the time comes. But anyway, is there any members of the committee that has any questions at this point? Anyone that has any questions at this point, at this time? Seeing none, I guess we'll move on to James back. Did you want to have Jay go next or Bill Rath?
Yeah, Bill, any highlights you want to touch on with respect to construction or anything else?
No, I think James, you summed it up. I think yesterday's ROC presentation of status was a lot like last month's, right? And so there's just a tremendous amount of work taking place in the admin building, in the courthouse, in the ADF, in the JDF, to progress the construction. And if you were to walk through the admin building and the courthouse today, you'd see a lot of drywall in place. You'd see prime paint going on the walls. You'd see overhead mechanical electrical work above ceiling in place, nearing completion. You'd see some ceiling grid being installed, right? So it's moving very rapidly. The ADF is a different animal. It's a different building, being that's detention. And that is also progressing very rapidly. So it's a more intensive kind of work than the interior construction that you see in the admin building, which is more of a commercial type solution. And then the JDF of the four is sort of the the last that's being addressed, right? Last in line, if you will. The CUP building is substantially nearing substantial completion. It's being commissioned, and as James referenced, we're about ready to turn that system on. So I think we're on schedule. We're about a year away from substantial completion. There's plenty to do between then and now. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
One thing, Commissioner, as well, we are spending more and more of our time, and certainly CGL is as well, with respect to our transition planning. We have about 9 or so transition teams, primarily made up of our end users, and we spend a good amount of time working through with them. They have some milestones that they need to hit in mid-September. And that process is being led by Bill Lawhorn at CGL. And he and I meet regularly with the transition teams, and we are confident that we are making the progress that we need, and will be able to move into the facility once it's completed and operate as efficiently and effectively as possible. So we're well on the way in that regard. One of the positive things that happened over the last 10 days or so is they brought up the what would be akin to the undersheriff of Maricopa County, and to speak with the transition coordinators from each of our teams. And they just produced, or rather finished construction of a somewhat of a different facility. I think it's more of a hybrid detention and holding area. I don't believe they have a courthouse associated with their facility as well, but there may be some courtrooms. Bill, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the main point of the presentation was just to give these stakeholders kind of a real life example of what is required, once you get the facility up and running, to actually move in, and to give them an idea of kind of lessons learned and the like. And so I think that the stakeholders had a real eye-opening discussion. I had an opportunity to speak with the undersheriff for about two and a half hours personally, and so some of the suggestions that he gave were extremely helpful. It may be that before we're at the end of this project, he will come back to the area, and if it just so happens that it's around the time of one of our committee hearings, Commissioner Anderson, you may even be interested in hearing him talk a little bit about some of their experiences there. And so just wanted to give you an idea that the transition process is moving forward, and we're working very hard on it.
James, if you would keep me posted on when he is going to be in town the next time, and maybe if we have the opportunity, a meeting is coming up, we'll try to get him so the committee members can hear.
Well, I certainly will. And you know these Arizona guys, they don't like to come up here in the wintertime. So
Yeah, that's true.
we may need to wait a few months, but
Yeah.
I think it'd be helpful. Just that perspective, was a good thing.
On the greater view overview, I guess, just wondered, is there any change, or are we still looking at completion dates staying about the same for next year? What is that roughly, what month? Again, is it around October?
Yeah, I mean, we're on track. Our dates have not changed at all. And so, we don't see anything on the horizon, at least that we can tell right now, that would kind of get us off kilter. But one of the things that we will, once we decide on some of these final changes, we will have to kind of reassess, and if that moves our deadlines in any way, this committee will be the first to know.
Okay.
But as of right now, we're still on track as we have been.
Okay. All right. Just for a minute, let me pause and see if there's any additional questions or any from committee members again before we go on to Victoria Ennis Edwards.
None at this time, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I'm good.
Commissioner Varga?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
I'm good too.
And there was a thanks, Terry. Commissioner Varga, there was a response to your question about the communications devices and what was going to be available for the prisoners once, and that was responded to in the list of questions. And but anyway, if anyone doesn't have any additional questions, and I'm not sure if Mark Abbo is online right now.
I am, Commissioner.
We are. Okay. Do you have anything right now, Mark, or do you want to save it for the end?
No, I'm good at this time. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. And I don't know who else is online. I don't see everyone on my laptop. But if there's anyone that just get my attention. I guess we go to Victoria if she's ready.
I am ready. Good afternoon, Chair. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for being here, and thank you all for being here.
No problem. My pleasure. Victoria Ennis Edwards. I'm Director of Wayne County Human Relation Business Inclusion Division. So mine is short and sweet today. If you saw my eyes kind of dotting back and forth, I'm multitasking. The good thing is I literally have the last and final draft of the awaited FF&E pre-qualifying flyer that I've been talking about. So I literally will be sending this to you as soon as the meeting is over. And I will send it directly to all of you. Joe, you will receive it as well. And if this could be shared with all the other commissioners, this is the one that I talked about that you can share with all the businesses in your community if they're interested. And it has a list on the flyer of the different areas within FF&E that we'll be looking for. And we're asking businesses to pre-qualify through the same company James was just speaking about. That's the Source Blue Group. And when you hear Source Blue, that's also Wayne County Procurement. Those are the ones who are going to be working with our team for the FF&E opportunities. So within the flyer, there's also a live link that they will be able to click on that has the little handbook that goes through each steps of pre-qualification to assist them with the process. There's also a number there. Should anybody get hung up or have a question while they're completing the pre-qualification process, they can call and get that information. So that will be shared as soon as this meeting is over. I hope you share with all the businesses in your communities. Feel free to stick it in your newsletters. And this is part of us ramping up and trying to get as many businesses as we can registered and ready for the upcoming FF&E opportunities. And that's something we literally are meeting on weekly, digging, peeling the layers out, making sure that we have opportunities, and we're lining everything up. So when these bids go out early fall through the winter, we're going to be ready and people have ample time to prepare themselves. And the pre-qual will go over what they're going to need, such as insurance, bonding, if possible. All of the basics are going to be part of that pre-qual. That way they are ready when those bids come out. We do not have an update as far as numbers, as you know, for workforce and for our goals. That is a quarterly report. So I do believe the next time we meet, I will have another report for you. Right now, we are doing a phenomenal job within the spend category. I will tell you that much. Workforce is pretty decent. We're, always striving to blow the goal out. But right now, I'm very proud of the numbers where we're in the high 50%, almost 60% as far as Wayne County businesses. So our businesses really are being pulled onto the project. So I've been very, very proud of those efforts.
Very good. Very good. It's good to hear. I think this project has provided a lot of jobs for the region and Wayne County residents too. So that's one very positive thing. And thanks for your efforts to make sure we are serving and helping those looking for work. And how's the project going? That was the trades and getting young people into the trades and people that do you have
the boot camps?
Mm-hmm.
The boot camps have been going very well. In fact, they are on their second, possibly going to start a third cohort. So they've been doing very well. A lot of the primes and the other contractors have been receiving the boot camp participants, putting them on the project so that they are getting some hands-on training. The good thing about the boot camp, some of the feedback that we're getting is you have some folks who say, yeah, I think I want to do this. Then after spending, the 8 weeks on the project, they realize that is their talent. And there've been a few folks that say, you know what, maybe I want to go more towards engineering, or maybe I want to do something else. So it really has been a good opportunity to almost go back in time where we had the vocational, where people would go from high school straight into vocation. So it is a good opportunity for our young adults to be able to get their hands on firsthand experience and really try out what they think they want to do. So that has been going well, to the point that I know Barton Mallow is doing it here, but they're also doing a boot camp on the Hudson's project too. So I think it is something that has been going very, very well. It's something I'm watching very closely to see what good parts can come out. And maybe if we can mimic that on some other upcoming projects, we will see, but it's been going very well.
That's great. That's great. I know when my son was at Michigan State, there was one of the, that was something that was just, there's no price you can put on how valuable that is to them choosing a career and sometimes getting a door open for them for a lifetime job or a trade. I know he got an offer from Nestle and went to work for Nestle upon graduation, and he's been with 2 multinational companies, and it's just extremely valuable to these young people.
Agreed.
But thank you for your report. James, did you have anything else you would like to add?
He's trying
No,
to
sir.
start something.
Okay. What's that?
I said, James is trying to start something. If you look in the chat, I won't pop up my blue and gold
Just
real
responding
quick.
to the chairman's comments.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, go green.
Uh-huh.
So no, Mr. Chairman, we don't have anything to add, but if there are questions, we'd be happy to address them and with respect to the timetable that you laid out.
Okay, and I would ask once again, go back to committee members, see if they have any questions at this point.
No, I just want to say I'm amazed that it's at 60% for the businesses. Wow, it's really something. So good job.
I agree. I think we can all be proud that that's turned out that way, and probably wouldn't be there without somebody with qualifications and the hard work that Victoria has done. And thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And I'd say the whole team is really working hard, you know, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed we stay high and go even higher. That's our goal. You know, let's try to push the limits.
Yep, that'd be great.
All righty. Thank you.
Yep. Any other commissioners or committee members?
I just want to
No.
say that this
Yes.
has been really great, and you guys are all doing a phenomenal job, and you are all appreciated. Not only for all the work that you do behind the scenes, but keeping us abreast too. I mean, you guys must work many, many hours more than you get paid for. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to say,
I just want to.
go ahead.
I just want to say that they're always prepared, prepared, and they don't just give us information. You know, at these monthly meetings, we regularly receive updates and emails that they share with the entire commission. And it's good to know that they understand how important this project is, especially it's starting just to look at where you are right now, where we are right now, from the tensions that started at the beginning of all of this. And I can just tell you that progress without a lot of the earlier concerns is absolutely great. Great to hear and see. Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for those comments, and I'm sure they all appreciate it as well. And any other committee members? If not, I'll go to anyone else. That Mark, anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, all right. And Tim, I see you're on the call. Did you want to have a comment?
Commissioner, thank you.
All right, thank you. And I don't know who else we have on central staff, if there's somebody that might have a question or a comment. No, I take that as a no. And Madam Clerk, I guess we can wind it down, and if you would take us to the next agenda item. Thank you all for being here too, again.
We're moving to item E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Are there any other such matters that anyone wishes to have the committee address? Committee members, I haven't heard from anyone. Have you received anything, Madam Clerk?
No, I have not, Chair.
Okay. I guess we'll move to the next item.
We're moving to item F, public comments.
Do we have any written comments of any kind that we've received?
I have received none, Chair.
Okay, and if you could make sure everyone's unmuted, just in case someone that's online. I guess we got something, but anyway, is there anyone online that I haven't already given an opportunity to make a comment or ask a question? Anyone else that's online? Anyone from the public? Going once? Anyone from the public wish to speak? Going twice? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, I guess we'll move the agenda.
We're moving to item G, adjournment.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you again, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
So moved.
Meeting is adjourned.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.